Hey Star Trek fans, Dan Gunther here with another edition of The Week in Trek. This is a weekly show in which I bring you all the week's Star Trek news, along with everything that you can expect to see released in the coming week. This week, we have news from the world of Star Trek Online, a new comic announcement from IDW, and an exciting award nomination for a Star Trek comic that came out last year. But first, an update on the Nielsen viewership numbers for the current season of Star Trek Discovery.
You're the captain of the most important space station in the entire Federation. You're news.
Last week, we reported that Star Trek Discovery had cracked the Nielsen Top 10 streaming chart for the week of April 8th to 14th, the first full week after the release of the season premiere double episode that kicked off Discovery's fifth and final season. Well, the trend has continued for a second week, with Discovery even gaining a spot on the list to rank at number 9 for the week of April 15th to 21st. This covers the first full week after the release of the episode Janal, the third episode of season 5, as well as a few days after the initial release of Face the Strange, episode 4 of the season. As with the previous week, Discovery is the only Paramount Plus show to make the top 10, a list dominated mostly by Netflix shows, with only the top spot going to Prime Video's Fallout television series. Now, these numbers do mean that Discovery actually got a little less of a viewing than the previous week, but with the performance of the other shows in the streaming list, they did gain that spot from 10th place to 9th place. This is very exciting news for Discovery's final season, and we will definitely be continuing to keep an eye on these numbers as the weeks progress towards the series finale of Discovery. Star Trek Online is preparing to begin a new season, and the storyline features the return of Denise Crosby in her role as Sela. The 32nd season of the long-running Star Trek MMORPG was recently announced. Titled Unparalleled, this new storyline features the Romulan Sela as captain of the Enterprise from a parallel universe. Denise Crosby previously voiced both Tasha Yar and Sela for Star Trek Online back in 2013. There will be a new event included with Unparalleled, as well as a gender/race change feature. The new season is set to release on May 28th for PC, and PlayStation and Xbox on June 19th. Speaking for myself, I haven't played Star Trek Online in quite some time. I was there for the launch way back when, but kind of dropped away in recent years. I want you to let me know in the comments if you still play Star Trek Online, and whether or not you would like to see this channel cover more Star Trek Online news. Back in 2022, Star Trek comics publisher IDW celebrated a milestone event, the publishing of their 400th Star Trek comic issue. This was unprecedented, with IDW publishing Star Trek comics for a longer run than any other comics publisher. Well, they're soon to reach another milestone. IDW has just announced a special issue for their 500th Star Trek comic. Star Trek number 500 will feature 7 stories from different eras of the Star Trek universe, and will serve as a prelude to another massive crossover event, which will be appearing on newsstands in 2025. And the creator lineup for this issue is impressive, including Patton Oswalt, Christopher Cantwell, Jackson Lanzing and Colin Kelly, Mags Visaggio, and many more. Here's the official synopsis from IDW. Celebrate IDW's 500th issue of Star Trek comics and an early Star Trek day with this landmark oversized anthology issue. This collection of 7 short stories spans through fan-favorite eras of the beloved franchise, from Lower Decks to Strange New Worlds, legacy characters from The Next Generation, and the original series, written and illustrated by Star Trek comics veterans and new voices alike. Plus, don't miss out on the prelude to 2025's big Star Trek and Defiant comic crossover event written by Jackson Lanzing, Colin Kelly, and Christopher Cantwell. The issue will also feature 4 different covers. Cover A, the standard cover, is by Joelle Jones. Cover B is this snazzy wraparound version by Jake Bartok. Cover C is a gorgeous painted cover by the amazing J.K. Woodward. And the retailer incentive cover might be my favorite, a wraparound cover featuring Q and his collection of Star Trek action figures in a Lower Decks art style. Chris Finoglio is the artist on this one. Are you planning on celebrating 500 issues of IDW Star Trek comics by picking up this issue? Which cover is your favorite? Let me know in the comments below. And finally, the 2024 Eisner Awards for Comics have been announced, and IDW's Star Trek line has garnered a couple of nominations. First, Star Trek Day of Blood, Shax's Best Day has been nominated for Best Single Issue / One Shot, Writer Ryan North and artist Derek Charm should both be very proud of this nomination, as it is very well deserved. I only recently read this issue, and it is so good. Trust me, if you haven't read this, you should definitely check it out. We will be covering this issue on an upcoming episode of the Positively Trek Book Club podcast as part of our coverage of the Star Trek Day of Blood storyline. Stay tuned for that episode coming soon. The other nomination for IDW's Star Trek Comics is a Best Coloring nomination for the flagship Star Trek comic series. Again, very much well deserved. Here's to both nominees, congratulations on the nominations, and best of luck in winning that Eisner Award.
Bridge? Well, I have a little work to finish up. Then I'm going to my cabin, I'm going to put my feet up, I'm going to turn on my personal relaxation light, and I'm going to lose myself in the pages of some old novel.
For Star Trek releases this week, we have a new novel, a new comic, and of course the penultimate episode of Star Trek Discovery's final season. First up is the novel. Tuesday, May 21st sees the release of Star Trek The Next Generation, Pliable Truths by Dayton Ward. Here's the back cover blurb. 2369. Shortly after Starfleet thwarts a Cardassian attack on a Federation star system, the Cardassian government orders an end to its 50-year occupation of the planet Bajor. As a result, a newly installed Bajoran government requests immediate assistance from the Federation to mediate how the withdrawal will proceed and what recompense, if any, the Bajorans are owed from their brutal oppressors. Captain Jean-Luc Picard is ordered by Starfleet Command to oversee these tense negotiations on Terok Nor, the massive Cardassian space station still orbiting Bajor, even as he still deals with his own recent trauma as a prisoner held and tortured by a Cardassian interrogator. As these critical peace talks get underway, Ensign Ro Laren receives a call for help from a friend thought long dead, exposing an insidious secret from inside Cardassian space. Now, Picard and the crew of the Starship Enterprise must act to prevent an interstellar incident from reigniting deadly hostilities between the Federation and the Cardassians, and shattering any hope of justice for the Bajoran people. I'm very excited for this novel. I'm a huge fan of Dayton Ward's Trek novels, and the fact that it is set right before the debut of Deep Space Nine has me extremely interested in checking this one out. Throw in Ro Laren and Garak as evidenced by the cover art, and this one is sure to be a winner. The book is officially released on Tuesday, May 21st, but copies have already been showing up in bookstores. I have links to purchase it from Amazon in the video description below. Wednesdays are always New Comic Book Day, and this week sees the release of the next chapter in the ongoing Star Trek Defiant series. Defiant number 15 is out on Wednesday, May 22nd. Here's the synopsis. It is a good day to die. Left with no other choice, the crew of the Defiant assists Hugh in assimilating B'Elanna in hopes of reclaiming control over the parasite embedded in her brainstem. But it's a race against time and the undead as hordes of infected starbase crew bang on the hangar doors, demanding Worf and his crew surrender and become one with the parasitic collective. As always, I have links to purchase the digital edition of Star Trek Defiant number 15 in the video description. And finally, Thursday, May 23rd features the release of the penultimate episode of Star Trek Discovery. Lagrange Point continues the race between Starfleet and the Breen for the ultimate expression of the progenitor's power in the lead-up to next week's Discovery series finale. Here's the synopsis from Paramount. After Maul and the Breen capture a mysterious structure that contains the progenitor's power, Captain Burnham must lead a covert mission to retrieve it before the Breen figure out how to use it. Lagrange Point is written by Sean Cochran and Ari Friedman and directed by none other than Jonathan Frakes. As always, watch this channel for coverage of the episode, including my review and deep dive, as well as the regular live show on Saturday. And that's another week in Trek gone. Thanks so much for watching, and thanks especially to the Patreon supporters. Only one more week before the big series finale of Star Trek Discovery, and I'm sure you'll all be watching alongside me. As much as I don't want the series to end, I can't wait to see how it all wraps up. We will of course have coverage on this channel of the finale, and not to worry, there's still much more Trek to come after that. I'll see you in the next video, and until then, as always, live long and prosper.